everybody. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm Katie King. I am co-founder and CEO of BioOrbit. I have a background in nanomedicine from the University of Cambridge, have worked at NASA, and was a former researcher in microgravity. And I'm here to tell you that space holds the answer for revolutionizing cancer treatment, and BioOrbit is the company to make that happen. We are building a pharmaceuticals factory in microgravity to form crystals of drugs to change the way in which cancer treatments are administered here on Earth. I've built a rock star team, and we have 2 launches within 24 months having started, and most recently we won a Rising Star Award from the European Space Agency just this week. So, space, cancer treatment, how on Earth or space are they relevant to each other? So let's get into it. The sad fact is that half of you here will develop cancer at some point in your lifetime. Now, that means to get treatment, we have to go to hospital and have the treatment injected into our vein, which is painful. It takes a long time, and it's a huge financial burden on the healthcare system. But if we take the same drug and turn it into a simple shot, then treatment can move to the home, and we, the patients, can self-inject, just like diabetics inject with insulin. Not only does this massively increase your quality of life, but it slashes hospital costs left, right, and center. So to achieve this at-home treatment, we need to get all the drug from that bag into an auto-injector, into that pen. And the problem is that when you get to these high concentrations with antibodies, it becomes really viscous and thick like honey, so it doesn't physically get through the pen. But if you use crystals of the antibody, you can reach these high concentrations without seeing a viscosity spike. It still flows. We're good. It can be used in drugs. There are other benefits of using crystals in drugs. One is that they are so thermally stable that you do not need the cold supply chain that was just a nightmare during COVID. It can survive in the fridge, it can survive outside of the fridge, higher shelf life, great. You can also get a more of a controlled release profile, which would be very, very useful for drugs like Ozempic, where people are getting all of these spikes and bad side effects. Have it as a slow release with fewer side effects. The difficulty is in achieving crystals of these drugs. And that is because we've had very limited success here on Earth. Gravity gets in the way. So gravity causes sedimentation, convection currents, which fundamentally make it very difficult for the next molecule to get in the right position. The result is just a mess. You see a wide range of sizes and a load of imperfections, which you can see in yellow in this image. But if you do exactly the same thing in space, these problems disappear, and you can get the quality, the uniformity, and the pharmaceutical-grade crystal that's needed to use these in drugs. So if you get the right quality in space, it makes sense, okay, let's move production to space, which might sound like science fiction, but the time is now. And that is because of how the space infrastructure has changed. SpaceX has completely slashed the cost of getting mass into orbit by orders of magnitude. So step 1, cost is now down, accessibility is up. The next thing is returning. If we're making products in space, we need to get them back down. And that's where re-entry vehicles come in. So the exploration company, who we heard from yesterday, is one of these companies working on capsules that will orbit for however long is required and then return the products back down to Earth. The other chain are the commercial space stations coming online. So all of this together means that space is now accessible at costs that make sense for production, and scalability is possible. But what's missing is the hardware to mass produce the crystals, and that's where BioOrbit come in. So we are building the hardware to mass produce crystals in microgravity. Our proprietary design is built with scale-up in mind. It's designed to be drug agnostic and automated, so no pesky humans are involved. We have 2 versions of this, one to fly on re-entry vehicles, Box S, and one to fly on commercial space stations, Box R. The key difference is that with the re-entry vehicles, the whole box goes up, the whole box comes back down. Whereas with commercial space stations, we will leave the box on the space station and just replenish the reagents. So Box S is great for quick iteration and the development phase. Box R gives you the better unit economics, which is critical for mass manufacture. So there are a few players looking at crystallization in space of different drugs, but to date it's only been done on the sub-gram scale, R&D scale, not very useful if we want to use these crystals back on Earth. And in fact, our launch next summer will already be the largest scale ever produced in space. And we're not stopping there. We're building our hardware so that we can produce multi-tons of these crystals in a space environment to bring them back down to Earth. And we are the only company building this hardware using both re-entry vehicles and commercial space stations. This gives us the ultimate agility, the best cost effectivity, and speed of delivery. So what does a world with BioOrbit look like? This is it. So we will be bringing the hospital to home via space. We are primarily aiming at cancer immunotherapies to bring that treatment into the home. But we're not limited there. The whole antibody market is open to us, which is projected to be worth close to $1 trillion in the next 10 years. We will be working as a contract development manufacturing organization, working with Big Pharma to co-develop these new drugs before moving into mass manufacture. We have 3 revenue streams. The first one is crystallization as a service, which will open up as quickly as possible, but that's not what BioOrbit is about. We are about revenue stream 2 and 3, co-development contracts with Big Pharma, and then moving into mass manufacture. Now, these co-development contracts can be worth anything between 500 million to multiple billion, depending on the drug, and royalties are on top of that. This is all pre-drug approval. Once the drug has gone through that approval process, it is then locked in for hundreds of millions of returning revenue per drug. So to get there, we need to be compliant, GMP certified, and we will get there by 2028. Next summer, we have the launch of Baby Boxy, the smallest in the family, to show our continuous production in space. After that, we will be doing a reflight with a more complex drug on a re-entry vehicle before moving into scaled-up production in 2027 and produce our first proof-of-concept injectable using space crystals. After that, regulation. So we are moving fast. We have 2 launches within 24 months of getting our first bit of investment through. We've secured just over 2 million from the likes of Seed Camp, 7% Ventures, and Type 1 Ventures, and are imminently closing our seed round of £8 million, for which we are oversubscribed. We have letters of support from AstraZeneca and with our different flight partners, commercial space stations, and also re-entry vehicles. And this is the team. We are a team of 12, and we span all of the areas of expertise that are required for this venture. Experts in protein crystallization, chemical engineering, space engineering, and space mission operations. And we will make this happen, and we will make this change. So in summary, this is a hugely disruptive piece of technology, and this is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity for the space industry. We have our first launch next year, and we are not stopping. We are moving as fast as we can. So I encourage you, if you're interested in this and you want to speak to me, or you want some updates on what we are achieving ahead of our Series A, then please reach out, and hopefully you can join us in bringing the hospital to home via space. Thank you.